Super Mario 3D Land was the first Mario game that I had actually ever played. Mario 3D World was the second one I had ever played. So I decided I was going to make another versus video because you guys actually seem to like the Mario 64 versus Mario Sunshine video. So like the last video, we're going to be breaking these down into categories and deciding which game is better in that specific situation. So let's get started.
Let's go.
Here for my first category, we have story. Mario 3D Land's story is Mario and the Toads get a letter with a picture of Bowser holding Peach. 3D World's story is Mario and Luigi, Peach and Toad just walking, then they discover a broken pipe, and Mario and Luigi fix it, and the 7 Spixies pop out and Bowser captures them. And the 3D World actually has a bigger story rather than just Bowser capturing Peach. Another cool aspect of both games is that there's more than just one character.
Let's go.
Our next category is characters. Mario 3D Land has 2 characters, Mario and Luigi. After completing the main game, Luigi is trapped inside a castle in this special world. After completing the castle, you unlock Luigi. And Luigi's physics are, he jumps a little bit higher, and of course, I think he is maybe faster, but I don't know. 3D World has 4 characters, Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. And Mario is the most balanced, Luigi jumps higher, Toad runs faster, and kind of has to give jump, and Peach can float for a short amount of time. So of course Mario 3D World has more characters and they all control different. They have different physics, and you can choose whichever character you want to do for a specific level. Same thing for 3D Land though.
Let's go.
Moveset. Both the games have very similar moveset when it comes to Mario 3D Land and Mario 3D World. When 3D Land came, it kind of removed a lot of moves that you can do in Mario 64 and Sunshine. For example, there's now a run button instead of just running on its own. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of prefer that. And you actually cannot punch anymore. But 3D Land did make a new move, and that's the roll move. You can roll up and then jump while moving. 3D World basically has the same moveset as 3D Land, but it doesn't really add anything. It doesn't add any moves that weren't in 3D Land, except when you're playing Bowser's Fury, you can dive. But again, this is the regular 3D World, and I'm not counting that release. But I do think that 3D World has a smoother moveset than 3D Land, so I actually have to go 3D World on this one.
Let's go.
Level design. So with 3D Land and 3D World, they're both of course 3D games, hence the name, but also has some other sections that could be considered 2D and 3D. I consider 2D and 3D, which you can move in any direction, but you're also kind of in a side-scrolling manner. So, and 3D Land's levels are also shorter, which is unsurprising because it's a handheld game. The 3D World's levels are more expansive and are bigger. 3D World doesn't consistently feel 2D, and don't get me wrong, 3D Land's level don't always do that either, but I still find 3D World's levels to be better because they're longer and more expansive over 3D Land. And there's this one section in the first level of 1-1 in 3D Land, and that I consider, it's just like the first screen of level up. It's kind of 2D and 3D if you get what I mean. You're looking at what's happening on the screen.
Let's go.
Power-ups. Both the games have many power-ups to choose from. 3D World's power-ups mostly follow up from 3D Land. 3D Land's power-ups are... So 3D Land's main power-up is Tanuki Leaf, but you can't fly like you could in Mario Bros. 3. You can only float. So here's a rundown of every power-up in 3D Land. The Tanuki Leaf, Mushroom, Fire Flower, Boomerang, Go Tanuki, Star, and the P-Wing. And 3D World's power-ups are the Double Cherry, Mushroom, Cat Bell, Fire Flower, Boomerang, and Mega Mushroom, Tanuki, and Star. Mario 3D World introduced the Cat Bell, Double Cherry, and Mega Mushroom. The Cat Bell allows you to scratch your enemies and dip down to the ground after jumping. The Double Cherry actually allows you to have more than just one character at once, but it is mostly used to unlock secrets within certain levels, and it's not in a lot of levels that are in the actual game. And the Mega Mushroom is what you would expect, where you're invincible and can break basically anything that's in your path. And as you'd expect, 3D World has better power-ups because it introduces 3 more and has every power-up that was actually already in 3D Land.
Let's go.
And our next topic is difficulty. And I think we should know what game is going to win in this category. For a second, I'm going to be talking about if the games were hard when I was 5. So 3D Land was kind of hard when I was 5. I'll be honest, I needed the P-Wing and Go Tanuki a lot when I was younger. But after finishing the game and only being able to get to Special World 3, the game wasn't nearly as hard as it was before the first time around. And trust me, I played this game like every day when I was younger. And 3D World, on the other hand, was way harder. Mainly because the levels were longer, so my 5-year-old self was more used to playing 3D Land. Seeing as at the time it was my favorite Mario game, because I didn't know that Mario freaking Sunshine, Galaxy, Mario Bros. 3, I didn't know that those existed at all. So since I was used to playing 3D Land, and it was my favorite game, I was more used to it. And even though it's been 6 years since both of those games were even hard in the first place, I still find 3D World to be harder because the levels are more expansive, meaning more platforming, enemies, and places to kill you in general. 3D Land's levels are more simple, but 3D World is a harder game in general.
Let's go.
And next up, we have Special Worlds. Mario 3D Land has 8 Special Worlds, while 3D World only has 4. 3D Land Special Worlds are mostly just harder remakes of the levels that are already in the game, but 3D World Special Stages are maybe besides like 3 or 4 levels are all new. And I find them to be better because, number one, they have more to do. So to put it short, 3D World Special Stages are more expensive than 3D Land's levels, which you'd expect, and are actually new to the game and are not just remakes.
Let's go.
And for my final topic, it is bosses. I feel like this makes sense to be my final topic because bosses are always the final thing that you'll do in video games. So actually on to the topic. What I decided to do was compare every boss from Worlds from 3D Land to 3D World. The World 1 boss the World 1 final boss is better than 3D World in my opinion because it actually takes more skill than 3D Land. The World 2 boss in 3D Land is from World 2 to 7 is not as good as 3D World simply because they're always boom boom pom pom, which is very disappointing. Which unsurprisingly are very easy bosses. And in World 2 from 3D World it's just boom boom, but he's harder than 3D Land by the slightest because he'll turn invisible, but you can still see him, which that really sucks. And World 3's boss is Histocrat, one of like the best 3D Mario bosses of all time. World 4's boss is a giant rock or boulder, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. And you throw mini boulders at him and defeat him. World 5's boss is the thing where you have to tell him where to jump on this square that moves its pieces around. It's probably the easiest boss in the game, if I'm going to be honest. And World 6's boss is a giant jester. It's probably the hardest boss in the game. And World 7's boss is basically World 1's, but slightly harder. And World 8's boss is basically just platforming. And if you want to hear more about the boss, then look at my top 10 final bosses video. It shouldn't take long for you to find it because it was made recently. So 3D World has more harder and expansive bosses. So 3D World is of course gonna win. So, my final verdict. So judging by how 3D World won every single category, it's obviously gonna win. But if I'm talking about nostalgic verdicts, then 3D Land is obviously going to win. So if you want to see more videos by me, then consider clicking on some videos on screen. Or if you love my videos enough, then you can even subscribe or also like the video.